There are three basic reasons why the Athanasian Creed is so insistent that this way lies salvation and any other way lies damnation. The first being, it's part of its definition as a creed. Creeds set the baseline for what people believe in a religion. I guess Christianity might be the only one to have creeds in this particular way, but this idea is in all religions. So, for example, in Judaism, you have to believe in one God. If you believe in multiple gods, sorry, it's not Judaism. In Islam, if you believe in Allah but you don't believe Muhammad is his prophet, sorry, it's not Islam anymore. That's what the creeds are doing for Christianity. Now, granted, there are other things that also define Judaism and Islam, just like there are more things than the Trinity that define Christianity, but it's setting the baseline of what you have to be Christian, what has to be right, no matter what. So that's that's the definition of what creeds do. So the Athanasian Creed is doing its job. Number two is the historical situation in which it was written. So the Athanasian Creed did not just come about in a vacuum. It's written to defend against heresy, and there were lots of rampant heresies, and there still are today. But part of defending heresy is to give the consequences of that heresy. And so I think this creed is so insistent because it wants everyone to know. All those other people, all those other gospels, they only lead to damnation. This is truth. This is orthodoxy. And it's putting a distance between them and us, sort of, as it were. So I think that's part of why it's so insistent, is to make sure people know this is not an acceptable variant, like I believe that tongues is like a personal prayer language versus I believe tongues is what you use to proclaim the gospel and people magically hear in some other language. Like, we can fight about that and still be in Christ. These are not those kind of issues. I think they're defining that. Number three, because of the Bible. So I don't know if this was as contentious then as it is somewhat now, but Jesus says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. His gospel is exclusive. And the Bible seems pretty straightforward on the way is narrow. And if you're not on the narrow way, then you're damnation. You're going to damnation. Those are the two options. So it seems to me that the Athanasian Creed is simply stating the two biblical options. You can either believe what Jesus taught, what the New Testament and the Old Testament teach, or you cannot. And we know how that ends up. And as much as we might want there to be, there is no middle way. There is the gospel, and there is not the gospel. Like Paul says in Galatians, he says, if anyone preaches to you a gospel contrary to the one we preach to you, let him be accursed. There is no tweaking of the truths in the Athanasian Creed and where they're still Christian.